Welcome to Hot Takes, where we get the opportunity to talk with speakers from the SHRM 19 annual conference and ask them about the key takeaways from their individual sessions. I'm Jennifer Currents, and I'm talking with the CEO of Legacy Business Cultures, Paul Meshanko. He's also an author, business leader, has spoken to some of the largest companies in the world on culture. Paul, thanks for stopping by the SHRM studio to talk with us.
Thank you.
Great. So I have some questions for you.
Sure.
Your mega session today focused on helping to navigate change within an organization. What do you see as some of the major changes that workplaces need to adapt to today? And most importantly, why is it critical that they do so?
Well, probably the largest mobilization of resources around change that I'm talking with our clients about right now is the reemergence and rebranding of what used to be diversity and inclusion, which is now becoming diversity, equity, and inclusion. And I think right now, with the greatest degree of ethnic diversity that we've ever had in the United States, plus the fact that we now have 5, in some cases even 6 generations working together for the very first time, means that we are rebooting and resetting ourselves with our expectations for what an inclusive and an equitable workplace looks like.
Yeah, there are so many different changes in the workplace today. You also spoke about the 6 great mind hacks for helping your organization navigate change. Can you give us some more information about what those strategies are?
Right. Well, the very first, the topic that I mentioned first this morning was probably the single most powerful, and that is the mastery of language as a tool for shaping culture. If you think about it, the human brain doesn't really process words per se. Words are just a vehicle. And so words trigger pictures in our brain based on whatever language we speak, which then bring about a certain emotional impact for us. And so learning to use language to literally shape a culture based on the pictures and emotions that we want front and center as people come to work, that's an art form in itself. And whether I'm managing myself or trying to lead others, learning to use language effectively to help lead not only ourselves but others through change is just a critical skill set.
Yes, and I can see how it is a critical skill set as we're creating better workplaces here at SHRM 19. Yes.
Right.
What are some of the ways that you see people to have those crucial conversations? What are some of the tools you give people?
Sure. Well, crucial conversations, my definition of a crucial conversation is any conversation that I need to have with either another individual or a group of people regarding behaviors, performance, that if not addressed, if not modified in some way, is going to lead to some unsatisfactory outcome. That may be that individual's performance, that may be the group's performance. And so I think it's serendipitous that Brene Brown was talking about courage, right?
Yes.
Well, part of being a good leader is to have the courage to have those crucial conversations. Whenever somebody's behaviors or performance, whether they're preventing or inhibiting an inclusive work experience for somebody, or whether they're holding back a change initiative, a good leader needs to have the courage, which means making themselves vulnerable a little bit, to have those important conversations. Because to fail to do so would say, I don't, either one of two things, either you're not important enough to have that conversation with, or I don't have the courage to have it with you, so good luck on your own, neither one of which is going to lead to a very satisfactory outcome.
Yeah, which leads into the change that you mentioned earlier. One of the things that you talked about is change hygiene. What is change hygiene, and how can people practice it?
Right, that's such a great question. Well, you've heard of IQ, you've heard of EQ, emotional intelligence. I like to think as a person's change hygiene as their CQ, their change quotient, if you will. And there are so many things that we can do, little things throughout the day, that can kind of prep us for big changes that we don't usually do because we're so creatures of habit, right? So one of the things that I like to encourage people to do is get out of our comfort zones just a little bit every day, whether it's learning a different way into the office, whether it's trying a different kind of restaurant for dinner on the weekend, whether it's having lunch with a different colleague, for no other reason than you want to get to know that person and really just understand them. These little things that we do if we get ourselves in the habit of getting out of our comfort zone, which we talked a lot about this morning, then all of a sudden when the bigger challenges and the bigger changes show up, we don't have to fight and push ourselves quite as hard because we've already kind of built up that muscle a little bit to get out of our comfort zones.
Paul, thank you so much for your time here at the SHRM Annual Conference, and thank you for stopping by to talk with us. To learn more about workplace combos and coffee, check out talkworkculture.com and learn how you can start the conversation in your workplace today. You can also find us on Twitter at talkworkculture and using the hashtag #myworkculture. We want to say thank you for everyone joining us here and watching from home. Remember to follow along with us on social media. Enjoy the rest of the conference and join us next time here in the SHRM studio.